Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk with what is a very sad day for the North Olmsted community and the Ohio community at large. Julian Juju Woods being laid to rest today following the heinous attack earlier in the week where the boy and his mother were attacked in a North Olmsted or outside of a North Olmsted Giant Eagle. The woman responsible for it was seen taking a knife from a vintage store, walking around what seems to be essentially picking their victim, and then ultimately stabbing and killing that 3-year-old. Just a horrible, horrible situation. And for those that have been familiar with this story, for those that have been on top of this as much as we have here at 19 News, you understand just what this has meant to the community and just how much support really has been shown for what has been called a quote-unquote random act of violence. I mean, this is something that came out of nowhere. We've heard this dozens of times, could have happened to anybody, and unfortunately happened to the 3-year-old Julian Juju Woods. Here at 19, what we're going to do is we're going to be providing you coverage from the beginning of the funeral. Now, we are not allowed inside, it is not being live streamed, but we want to show you the support that's happening before the funeral begins. Then we will have another digital stream available to break down and show you the processional, which is going to be incredibly emotional for many, many people in this. We have both our Colton Molesky and our Vic Gideon. They're going to be covering multiple aspects of this for us. Before we do get to Vic Gideon, who is outside of the church right now, we want to show you an interview that he did just moments ago with, trying to make sure I have Judy Lewis from Parma. People are just showing up at this church, which I'll show you a live shot of right now. That is the live look at the church where this funeral is taking place. This at St. Charles Borromeo Church in Parma. Want to again show you this interview that our Vic Gideon did earlier. A lot of people that are going to be showing their support have no connection to the Woods family, and yet here they are, showing their support, showing that they care after just a heinous situation.
Chair, and you're standing, or you're going to sit outside the church. Why is it important that you're here today?
Because I think it's important for everyone to support the family with our love and our thoughts and show our support. So I wanted to be here today.
And I'll actually, I don't want to take too much, but it's an emotional time even for you.
Yes, I'm a great grandma, and I have, just wanted to be here and show my support.
And last question, what's it going to be like today?
Sorry.
What's it going to be like today? What's the emotions and feelings?
It's sad. It's very sad. It's wonderful that they're doing it all the way to Sunset Memorial.
Yeah.
So everybody please show up and support the family. That would be a wonderful thing.
Are you heading out there later?
No.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Not trying to...
My sister and my whole family's out that way,
Good.
so they're going to be by sunset.
Here's a couple of things that we will not be doing today. We will not be talking about the suspect at all. We will not be going into specifics of what happened. Today is a day that is about Julian Juju Woods. Today is a day that is about this small child with a full life to live, whose life was heinously taken from him. You can hear it there in just what that one person was saying. What this means to so many people, because there are so many of them that are mothers, that are fathers, that know what it's like to have a child. Not many know what it's like to have this feeling. Let's see if Vic Gideon's listening in here. Hey, Vic, you got me?
Hey, how are you, Jeff?
I'm doing well, Vic. Vic Gideon, of course, one of our greatest and best at 19, covering for us outside. Vic, just if you don't mind, kind of give everybody a feel of what you've been seeing.
Yeah, Jeff, we're outside the church, as you can see right now.
Yeah, Vic, go ahead.
Oh.
We might have lost Vic there. Let's see if we can get Vic back.
No, I'm here. We are obviously on the other side of Ridge Road, across from St. Charles Borromeo here, where you can see people starting to gather, and certainly you can see a lot of the green that they're wearing. We talked earlier about the green ribbons. We talked to the two women that put those ribbons up yesterday. They didn't know the family, but they thought it was important that the family knew that the community was behind them and we actually see dinosaurs around. One of the women I talked with is actually holding a dinosaur, but on the corner there, you can see below that signpost, there's dinosaurs there because, of course, little Julian, his two favorite things were the color green and dinosaurs, so everybody's trying to pay their respect to him this way. But again, the hearse is not pulled up yet. We expect that at around 11 o'clock. The family, I'm sure, will be coming at that point, but you can see that gathering there. They're all going to gather in front of the church, and then they're going to process into the church for the funeral mass. So everything is getting ready to go here. Certainly we're just waiting for the family and then obviously for that mass to start, which is scheduled for 11, but I've got to think at least at this point it's going to be starting a little bit later.
Yeah, so that hearse is going to pull up right to in front of where you are, correct?
Oh yeah, there's like you can see a little indentation in the road there. That's where I would imagine, and we know the hearse will be there, but it'll probably be followed by some of the other cars, some of the other family members, some of the close family members, and again they will process. Father John Carlin is the pastor here at St. Charles Borromeo, and it's interesting. We see already out here. We've talked to several people they're in lawn chairs. Some are wearing green across the street. They have absolutely no connection to the family aside from the fact that this story, as you know, has touched almost everyone that has heard it, and certainly if you're a parent or a grandparent, and I think anytime you hear anything about a 3-year-old child, it just is so emotional. But the other thing is that it was just such a they can't make sense of it. It's a very hard thing to process that you're walking out of a grocery store and a child gets attacked and he loses his life. That I think they are so upset at the fact that there's no way to make a rhyme or reason of this. But again, you can see more people coming up here. Well, obviously we're looking down there at the green balloons. We see people sitting on the route, and just as you may have said before we started talking, but the parade or the procession will go from St. Charles Borromeo. It'll go north on Ridge, then they will hang a left on Snow. That'll be west. Then north on 150th, and then they'll go to Brook Park Road. So that'll obviously head them west into North Olmsted. So it'll be a long route, and we expect there to be plenty of people along that route, and maybe especially here, and here and at the ending point. But we expect also people to be on that entire route as that procession proceeds all the way from Parma to North Olmsted.
Yeah, and Vic, as you mentioned there with that route, now the family, and according to this GoFundMe request, the Wood family has requested that in part, at least in some way, that people show their support there. So I'm going to pull up what Vic was just talking about here. This is the route that is going to be taken. So take a look at this. The family is requesting that people that wish to show support to line the streets of what you're seeing right there, dressed in the color green or anything dinosaur related. That is something that Julian absolutely loved, according to the family. And Vic, that is something that you've already seen. You've seen the green, you've seen the dinosaurs, and just watching it from my perspective, it's emotional to watch.
You know, it is. And I was talking to several people here, and most of them, again, they don't know the family. They had no connection to the family. They're not related. And the emotion that they showed, and again, as I'm listening, it kind of makes you well up a little bit to think about, a child that is, not going to go on. Obviously, it looked like a loving family. He had an older brother and a baby sister, from all appearances, he was loved. He graduated from preschool, and the fact that, he's not going to have an opportunity to live a full and rich life that was actually, his life was taken at the very beginning. So I know a lot of people, and again, we talked to mothers and grandmothers that have no connection to the family that are so upset at what happened. And I think the other thing is that everybody feels for that family, and particularly that mother. I mean, there's no way, obviously aside from the grief of losing a child, but to experience it the way she did, I mean, it's gut-wrenching. And I think, boy, if you hear one word, and it sounds cliche, but it's true, the one word you hear is heartbreaking, and I think that's probably the word of this whole day will be, it's just heartbreaking. But hopefully there's some joy that can come of it, because he lived a short 3 years, but I know he made an impact on people. I know the people that knew him talk about what a joyous kid he was, and again, he didn't have a chance to kind of fulfill any of the dreams that he had or that his family had for him. But again, maybe there could be some joy that we can find from this day, and again, amidst the sadness, because it is, at the end of the day, it is a tremendously sad occasion here for the family and actually for the entire community.
Vic, you've been mentioning the reaction from people that you spoke with. We're going to now bring in or show an interview with Luann Semler, someone you spoke to just moments ago.
Why are you out here today?
Just to show support for the family. It's just horrible that something happens like this. Just terrible.
You're emotional. I mean, it's difficult even though you didn't know the family.
Correct. A 3-year-old child didn't even get a chance yet. Just terrible.
And last question, what do you expect to see today? What's going to be the mood, and what's going to be the...
Well, I don't know. I mean, I expect it to be very somber, very, heavy, but it just shows support for his family.
Vic, you can just hear and see the emotion in that woman's face. Just, that's what we're all feeling today.
Yeah. I'm going to introduce you to a couple more people. Mason's going to follow me here, but this is Pam and Karen, and these women had no connection to the family, but yet they spent their time yesterday doing something very special for that family.
We just put ribbons up, the green ribbons, because I saw on television that green was his favorite color. We brought a dinosaur. We put up just because we want to show the family that there's more love than evil.
And you're wearing green as well.
Yeah, because that's his favorite color. And I have a 3-year-old grandson, and I mean, this could happen to anybody.
Yeah, what does it mean for you to be able to, amidst this really sad time, that you were able to, with your friend Pam, your neighbor, this is Karen, that you were able to do something positive? I think that's so important that you try to find something positive in this.
Absolutely, and I think by putting the ribbons up, we showed a lot of support towards the family, and I think that may help them in some way, but it's an awful thing. It is an awful thing to have happen to a family or anybody.
Yeah. And then again, it's so nice of both you guys to spend your time for, and again, they're not strangers now because we know them, but you really didn't know them before. No. And I mean, it's so nice that we're, as a community, that they know that they're not alone, and that everybody kind of feels not nearly the depth of the pain they do, but everybody feels the pain of Julian. So again, thank you guys. And you offered me a cookie, which was really nice, but I'll have to take you up on that in a little bit. But actually you can see over here, more people are starting to gather, although I believe the procession will be going north. So this is a little bit south of the church here on Ridge. But again, they'll watch the hearse come in, and they'll watch the family proceed into the church. So they've got a good view. But actually, the parade route will be north on Ridge, and again, they'll be hanging a left and going west on Snow to get to North Olmsted. So yeah, again. It's really nice that people turn out and try to show their support for this family, needless to say. And you can see a lot of emotion here, but hopefully it's not all sadness, because even though this is such a tragic event, I know everybody's trying to find some positive in it.
Yeah, Vic, I couldn't agree more. I feel like it is good to have a time when we can bring some positivity for something that is absolutely heinous here. I want to show again what Vic was referencing there, which is the route. Again, the family is asking that people line the route with dinosaurs, with the color green, both things that Juju absolutely loved. So starts at the church, that's 5891 Ridge Road in Parma, then goes north on Ridge, left on Snow, then they drive west, they turn right on Smith, they drive north, they turn left on Brook Park, they drive west, they turn left on Great Northern Boulevard, they drive south, Great Northern Boulevard turns into Columbia Road, and then ultimately they will end up at Sunset Memorial Park. That is where our Colton Molesky will be for the second digital stream that we have today here. I'm going to pull back up now the live look that our Vic Gideon has, showing you the front of the church there. As Vic has said, and for those that are just joining us here, we are sitting in front of the church where young Juju Woods, his funeral will be taking place. Juju, 3 years old, a story that many people are now familiar with, was murdered in a quote-unquote random act of violence. Just a horrible situation. And now, today, a chance for the community to show support, but also for the family to say goodbye. And this church right here is where that is going to be taking place. That is St. Charles Borromeo Church in Parma. They will then, following the conclusion of the funeral, have the burial, which will be taking place at Sunset Memorial Park. The young boy loved the color green. He loved dinosaurs. He's 3 years old. You know, there's not really much else that you can say about a kid that was 3 for how heinous and how horrible this is. And what we are waiting now is for the processional, essentially, to bring the hearse to the front of the church. Now, we are not allowed inside for the funeral, but we are still allowed and able, very much so, want to be able to show you the impact that this is having on the community. The camera that you're seeing from right there, that is with our Vic Gideon. He has been on scene covering this story, spoken with so many people on this, and you can just see the impact that it's already had on the community. Anybody you see wearing green, anybody you see with dinosaurs, if you're driving around today, this is the reason. Taking something that is so heinous and so horrible and turning it to show that the community cares. And we know that this is going to provide nothing substantial for the family as far as bringing their child back, but this still does something. Look at those little kids. Yeah, Vic, just looking at all this, I mean, this is an unbelievable show.
Jeff, we believe that the procession is on its way and could be very close at this point. In fact, we hear sirens now. So from what we've heard from several people on site is that we expect the hearse to roll up and for the family to be arriving probably in just a few moments.
And then from there, Vic, they'll enter through that front part of the church, just in front of where you are, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And you know, hopefully the traffic here, we're on the other side of the street, obviously, but you can see people starting to gather in front. We did talk to the pastoral vicar here. They will gather, as you can see, they'll be gathering in the front of the church. Everyone in the that's there for the funeral mass. They'll probably say a prayer outside and then process into the church for the funeral mass. So we expect that to happen. Like I said, very quickly. We're hearing sirens, and obviously the police are perhaps getting their escort together. We see some black vehicles, and their hearse is pulling up right now, as we expected, and obviously a big black van as well, which is probably carrying the family. You know, which I don't want Mason to cut away from this, but people on the other side of the street are holding up signs in support. It says, I know one of the people we talked with earlier, Karen, says, "Rest in peace, Julian Wood. God bless you." You know, certainly the support here is pretty overwhelming. But again, the bells are ringing here. It is a little after 11. Needless to say, it's 11:10. But it looks like everyone is here. In fact, I'll let the scene do the talking.
And again, for those that are just joining us, the hearse that has Julie and Juju Wood inside just arrived to the church. This happening at St. Charles Borromeo Church in Parma. The processional has now entered St. Charles Borromeo Church in Parma. The funeral now set to begin for Julie and Juju Wood. Quite the show of support. Vic, I think I still got you. I know from this side of the lens, this was incredibly emotional. Just if you can describe the scene that you got there as well.
Yeah, obviously still very emotional out here, as you would imagine. The crowd has gotten a little bit bigger on the other side of the street. You can see a dinosaur there. Obviously one of the requests of the family to bring dinosaurs and to wear green. But again, it was a very, very somber scene, as you know. In fact, actually, we see some more vehicles pulling up here. We saw, I believe it might be the police escort. There's motorcycles over there. Policemen, they will actually be, you see them driving right by you there. I think they will be helping out on the route to make sure that it goes smoothly as they head out of the church and then head north on Ridge, and then they'll be going west on Snow to get to the final destination, which of course is the cemetery in North Olmsted. But as we thought, they brought that casket out of the hearse, and then brought it into the church. Everyone gathered there, and it looks like there's 30 or 40 family members, I'm sure friends of the family, that are now in the church. They'll be doing a funeral mass for Julian, or Juju as he was known, and then we expect in 45 minutes after the mass starts for them to be coming out again, and then to follow the route that will take him to the cemetery in North Olmsted. But again, you know, the crowd has been picking up here as far as the number of people. Everybody extremely emotional, sad. I mean, as you would imagine, it's a 3-year-old that they are actually celebrating his life today, and obviously a life that was taken too short or too soon. But again, the whole community here, even people driving by, have been honking the horns. We saw some of the people in the family's party waving at the people holding signs. I think they understand that the community is supporting them. A balloon is flying up through the air there, a green balloon, one of the balloons that people brought to commemorate or to remember little Julian. And we see other kids holding balloons over there at the corner. This is at Wilbur and Ridge. Again, ribbons all around this area, which is very emotional to see that. This morning we got here, there was no one here yet, and they had tied ribbons overnight or yesterday, and that they were there overnight for everyone when they came here to see those green ribbons out there to remember that little boy's life and remember the request of the family. But again, we expect to see many people on this route here. We expect it to be emotional, but we also expect them to, you know, to remember a little boy and to support his family, I think, in this very troubling time.
Vic Gideon, we thank you so much for all of the attention today and all of the great work. We are going to take a step back now as the funeral is underway. Then we will return. We will have Vic, we will have our Colton Molesky as well, as the funeral for Julian Wood has begun. As Vic said, that 3-year-old whose life was taken far, far too soon. You'll see the green, you'll see the dinosaurs everywhere. I want to also pull up one last time the route that we are going to be seeing here. If you're watching this, take this down. The family has requested that people line this route wearing green, having dinosaurs, have a green dinosaur, showing support for him and for the family. He's a 3-year-old, so he loved the color green. He loved dinosaurs. Anybody that has ever had a nephew, a niece, a son, a daughter, you know that dinosaurs, yeah, they're big for young kids, and he loved them. And that's why you're seeing them everywhere. They're requesting that people with green dinosaurs line the streets there. I'm going to keep this up for you so you can see, again, one more time, the route that is going to be taken. You got some spare time today. Show your support for a family that is dealing with a tragedy that is absolutely unbelievable. All right, on behalf of Vic Gideon and myself, we would like to thank you all for watching. Vic, we are going to relieve you for a little bit here, but we will be talking to you in about 40 or 50 minutes or so. So we will obviously stay in touch there. But Vic, thank you so much for your work today, man. We really appreciate it. We'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. We will be here for you, and certainly we'll be covering this emotional day as the best we can.
And you heard him there, our Vic Gideon. I'm Jeff Slauson here with 19 News. Again, we appreciate everything that you guys are all watching and doing to support this family, and we will have much more throughout the next few hours. We'll see you again for our next digital stream coming up in about 40 or 50 minutes or so. Of course, stay tuned on all of our digital platforms here at 19 News, and we'll provide you with the latest updates. For now, I'm Jeff Slauson with 19 News. Have a great day. We will have much more to come, both on air and online.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV.